wanted to talk about Finalmouse, the Ultralight Cape Town 2, and I think this is for my hand size, which is really small. Basically, this fits perfectly because I tend to palm most of my mices, and I found like this one fit like a glove. Like there's a lot of other smaller or just as small. I don't know if they're just as light, but I know they're smaller mouses, and also like the same, not the same exact design, but made for small hand users. There's a lot of mices out there. This one in particularly is very light. I love the aesthetics of it, like the off-white, the darkish orange kind of vibe. It has like kind of a old school retro vibe. I don't know. I like that it's not white. It's, you know, a little dirty white, off-white. So it looks really nice. These feet are hyperglides. I switched them out a long time ago when I got this mouse. So there's the reason I don't use this as my main, basically, like this is probably one of the best mice that fits my hand perfectly. Like I've used a lot of mice over the years that I switched to PC gaming. Like I have the G Pro wireless. I have the G703, not the Hero one, but you know, the first iteration of the wireless version. I used to play on the G502. I also tried this one, the G903. I have a lot of Logitech ones. I've tried Zowie ones. Zowie has like really nice shapes. And I've also tried this Razer, which is currently my main, the Razer Viper Ultimate. And when it comes to like the weight of it, this is very light, but I don't think any lighter or even this light. Like I'm perfectly content with how light this Razer Viper Ultimate is. I personally don't need anything lighter, right? Like I don't mind if it's lighter as long as it's not heavier. Like I can tell dramatically the difference between the G Pro wireless and the Razer Viper. For some reason, like this just feels way lighter than this one. But like from these two, I can kind of feel it, but it's not like it's a big difference. Like I'm fine with this weight, but it doesn't hurt having it lighter. I mean, I don't know how light is possible to go until like it's going to mess with my aim. I know a lot of people say that they want a super fast glide and they want a faster like mouse pad, and they also want a lighter mouse so they can, you know, have full control. Personally, for me, I'm like the opposite, which is why I kind of started off using heavier mice, because when I tend to play games, I get like really nervous. It's something that I haven't been able to control a lot of the times. And I also have like shaky aim. So like my crosshairs are always like moving, especially when I'm tracking. It's like kind of shaky, right? Like it's hard to keep up. And to kind of counteract that, I always have to use like control pads, which the Zowie GSR, like the black version, has always been my main mouse pad. I'm currently testing out a different mouse pad as a desk mat. I'll talk about this in another video, what kind of mouse pad this is, but it's one that I haven't really seen that many videos of, to be honest, and I wanted to give my perspective on this mouse pad. But in another video, I've barely been using it for about 2 weeks. I want to at least use it for another month or two to give my overall thoughts about it, but it's been my main for 2 weeks. I don't know if I'll go back to the GSR, but I've tried many mouse pads, and I've always seemed to go back to the GSR. So speaking of this mouse, it's the perfect shape for me, right? Like I love ergonomic mouses, and this is not an ergonomic shape, but it fits me like a glove basically for my hand size. It's kind of weird because the G703 is like a really good mouse that I love, like big buttons like this. Like I don't know what it is about these, but I really love how clicky they feel and how like just how big they are in general. Like everything about this mouse I love except for the size and the weight. I don't know if it will still be considered ergonomic if it was smaller, right? If this was smaller, I think it'd be the perfect mouse for me, like the perfect shape. But then again, if you make something smaller, the shape is kind of going to change. So I don't know if it'll feel just as good. The only reason I don't main this mouse is like when I palm it, I have a lot of space left right here, as you can see. And it almost feels weird to kind of click. It feels like more effort instead of like having your fingers up here where you can easily click. So, I mean, obviously I can fingertip it in something as small as my hands are. Is how I used to use it, but it's kind of heavy. I got used to lighter mouses over time. So, which is why I started using the G Pro wireless. And then from there, I went to the Razer Ultimate, which is my main, has been my main ever since it released. So this mouse, I gave it a chance and I loved everything about it except for the cable, like except for the wire, right? I consider myself that I just got spoiled using wireless mouse. Wireless mice are just my favorite now. I can't go back to wire. I don't know what it is. Even if this is lighter, even if it fits my hand better, something about having a wire feels like it's holding me back. Even with the bungee holding my cable down, something just feels off having this wire. And ever since I went wireless, which I think my first wireless mouse was the G703, I want to say. But ever since I've used that, I haven't been able to go back to wired mice. So like, it's really weird because I love everything about this, but there's a lot of negatives when it comes to this type of mouse. One being that it's really hard to buy. They don't sell them anymore, I don't think. And one thing that I dislike about this company, which there's pros and cons to like every company. And I don't know who started this whole design. I don't know who started like the whole lightweight race and this whole like have hose on your mouse. I don't know who actually did it. I don't know if it was Finalmouse or not. But one thing I will say, they were the ones that got noticed for it the most. I'm pretty sure this design was out there somewhere already. It just wasn't as popular. So they definitely hyped this type of design out. Like, and it gave incentive to other companies to try something like this and try to go in a better direction for a lot of consumers that wanted to buy this type of mice. So I think it's a pretty good thing in that aspect, right? But the problem with this company is it's kind of like you cannot buy them. And usually, like I remember I was trying to buy the first generation of this mouse. It was a bigger version, the bigger brother of this one. And they were sold out literally like I couldn't even buy one. Like the website was messing up and like the whole hour I was trying to order it and pre-order. And it was just, people had already bought them and scalpers and all this. And there's only a limited amount. They're not going to ever make them again and all that. So that right there within itself tells me that, well, there's really no point in loving a mouse like this, because it's kind of like the keyboard community, right? It's like when they make certain keycaps, which keycaps are different. It's not like keycaps are a necessity. And it's not like this mouse is a necessity anymore. Like I said, there's a lot of competition and a lot of companies are starting to make super light mouse, just like the new G Pro wireless super light. And I'll talk about that in a little bit to compare it to this. I don't have it, but I'll explain why I never got it. So yeah, it's like Glorious is doing pretty well. And hopefully the Model O minus wireless is as small as this one. Maybe it's going to be the same shape or same size as the minus O wired version. I never tried any Glorious mouse, so I don't know exactly how they feel and what the quality level is. But they've definitely been doing a lot of good things with all the mouse pads that they've been creating. The keyboards, I definitely pre-ordered one of their future keyboards, the GMMK Pro. So hopefully, you know, it's going to be a good hop swap keyboard. So pros about this mouse: lightweight, fits my hand size, right? Like every hand is going to be different. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. It came with like some kind of foam to be able to stick on this, but I don't really need it because my hands are small. So it's like, there's no reason for me to really use it. The mouse is fine the way it is, but I've seen people put them on. And at that point I feel like, well, you might as well use the other version of this mouse, right? Like the first one that came out, if it fits you better. And if you're fine with wire, I think this is perfectly fine. It's perfectly acceptable. This might be a lot of people's main. But like I said, the problem is there's not that many out there, and they're not even like selling them anymore. I mean, people are reselling them. Like, let me tell you, I was not able to get this mouse at all from the actual website. I had to go on eBay, then I had to go on Amazon, and I still paid double the price for what the original price was. And that kind of sucks because, like, if you have money to throw around and all that stuff, that's perfectly fine. I was doing pretty well at the time that this mouse came out. So I was like, well, I have extra funds. Let me just purchase this. And it was kind of hard to like return it when I needed more time to try it, right? Like I needed to try products for more than 2 months in order to give my overall, like, complete thoughts about how I feel about something. And by then the returning period is, you know, too late basically. So it was kind of a waste of money for me. It's not a mouse that I'm going to main. It looks nice, but I mean, come on, like, for what I paid, it's not worth just to look at. You know, it's basically just sitting there. If this was wireless, it would be my main. I would just say that out there. But it would be hard to recommend people to get this because of, you know, the people reselling it. It's not worth it. But I think the good things that come out of this is that a lot of other companies can copy this. They can copy like the hype, they can copy the shape, they can copy the weight, they can copy a lot of things and improve on that. But from bigger companies like Logitech, Razer, Glorious, and they'll actually have them in stock, right? Even if they run out in their first batch, their second batch, they're going to restock them and they're going to keep making more. And that's what I love about those companies and not necessarily this company. Now, supposedly they're making I think another mouse. But I'm not really too excited. I really don't care at this point, simply because the competition is pretty good right now. And there's a lot to be coming out. And I think Razer's probably going to announce a lot of products pretty soon. They've been hinting a lot on their Twitter and on their YouTube channel. So I'm expecting good things. Hopefully they announce a Razer Viper Mini, and I'm definitely going to be copping one of those if it comes out. I hope it's not like the G Pro Superlight to where it's like the same shape and it's just lighter. Because that's one of the reasons why I didn't get the Superlight. I know that this shape is popular. It's like a safe shape. But that's one of the reasons I didn't get the Superlight, because it's the exact same shape minus, you know, the buttons and a lot of other things that made the Superlight weigh as much as it does. And that, like, it's a good thing for people who love this shape, right? Like, they definitely got the mouse because of how light it is, and they love the shape. But this mouse is still too big for me. I mean, the Razer Viper is still too big for me. And yeah, there was no reason I was going to spend $150. I think it's $150, maybe $120 for less features. And just the difference in the mouse is the weight, right? Like, if it was the weight and the size, then yeah. But then again, that's just me, right? Maybe there's not a lot of people who actually want a smaller mouse. So it might have flopped big time if they made it smaller. So they went the safe route and they made the same shape. They just made it lighter. So a lot of people who knew they wanted a lighter mouse, then they definitely got it and they got what they wanted, right? So I'm just hoping eventually we'll get a mouse like this, or even if it's smaller, I don't mind. That has, you know, 2 buttons as well. But yeah, like, this is the reason why I didn't use it, right? Pros and cons. Pros, it's light, it's small, and the clicks feel really nice. Like, they're really clicky. I mean, I don't have like good sound tests to be able to give you a sound test on how they sound, but I like the way they feel. I usually don't like small buttons like this. Like, personally, my favorites have been from the G703. It's like everything about the G703 I have loved. Like, I love these big buttons on it. I love everything about it. This mouse, except for like the size, I wish it was smaller, but in general, I love everything about it. This, I'm surprised. These are probably one of my second favorite side buttons on a mouse, which is surprising. I don't know what it is about them, but they feel nice. The clicks, they're okay. They're not bad. I definitely like these clicks better than the Razer Viper. Something's been going on with my Razer Viper Ultimate to where, like, the right click feels mushy now. Like, it's kind of getting stuck. I don't know what it is, but I think it's probably because I had one of the first copies. So maybe it's like defective. I don't know. I can still play with it, but I've been meaning to get an upgraded version, but I'm just going to wait out and see what they come out with. So yeah, it's a good mouse, but I wouldn't recommend it, right? If you have the funds, people are still selling it on eBay, I think for 200. That's a lot to cop out for a mouse. But if you know you like the shape, if you know you want a small mouse, if you know you want a light one, then get it. But there's going to be a lot of options coming out soon. I mean, Glorious has a lot of options already. Logitech has a lot of options, and Razer has options, right? And you just have to find, I'm pretty sure most people have bigger hands than me. My hands are like literally super small. So this fits me. I mean, my hand is obviously bigger than the mouse, right? But it fits perfect. I don't have to like worry about anything. You know, like my hand actually doesn't go like this, like the other mice that I use. You know, like there's a lot of space left on my G Pro and all the other mouses. This one, you know, it's basically even with my hand. You know, there's a little left, but obviously I don't play like completely over it. You know, I just rest my hand on the mouse pad. And yeah. So when it comes to the skates that it came with, the feet, I switched mine out. Like I said, they weren't bad. Like I said, I like control skates personally, but I wanted to try something different, so I put fast ones on. And yeah, it's not my thing. What I've been really using, and I think I'm gonna be consistent on it, is using these right here, the Lexip ceramic feet, which for some reason I can't find them anymore. I was gonna find another pair to buy, but on their website it doesn't let me purchase them for some reason. But that's kind of like the mouse feet that I want to use. I wish that they made I wish Lexip or whatever the company's name is made like bigger feet that are not circle, but they're kind of like bigger that you can just place. That'd be kind of nice, right? Like I love these type of feet. They last a very long time. And that's the beautiful thing about the ceramic mouse feet, is that you can use it on a hard mouse pad or any type of surface, and they're still going to last you a very long time compared to these. I mean, of course, they're nowadays cheaper, but still, like, do you really want to shell out $5 every like 2 months, every month, depending on what kind of surface you use, depending on how much you play, right? When you can have like ceramic feet that last you more than a year. Now, it's going to depend on if you even like those feet, right? Like, because they all have different types of glides. Even if they're both fast, it's still different because of the oval shape of the feet. So compared to this and compared to like the G703, which has like little oval corners on them. So it's going to depend a lot on what you want and what you're looking for. Like I said, I'm more of a control person. I love control mouse pads. Like the more control, the better for me. And I rely completely on like my play style to kind of carry the way that I aim and my placement and the mouse. Basically, if the mouse is lighter, it's nice for me. I'd rather the mouse be lighter than the mouse pad be faster, if that makes any sense. But people love the opposite, right? Or people love both. People love like a really fast glide and, you know, to where like you barely touch it and it's like flying everywhere, right? I don't think I could ever get used to that. I tried hard mouse pads and I could never aim properly. I was never consistent. And with Super Control mouse pad, I have always been consistent even on bad days. And I think that's just due to the fact that the mouse pad's doing a lot of the work on my bad days. Now, on my bad days on a super, like the GSR, it's kind of hard to track. But when I'm playing consistently well, I'm pretty much good at tracking. But still, I want to give my thoughts about this mouse pad one day. Maybe give it another month before I talk about it. And because this has been really amazing for tracking. It's a weird mouse pad, but yeah. So overall, yeah, that's my thoughts on this mouse. Sorry that the video is pretty long. It's not your average, I don't want to say average, that sounds kind of mean. It's not like a review or a like professional high quality video, right? And if you want a more in-depth, there's a lot of reviews out there that talk about products and stuff like that. My channel's not going to be about that, right? Like I'm trash at doing this type of stuff. I just want to talk about things that I enjoy. And that's basically the end of it, right? Like give my overall thoughts about something, and yeah, that's it. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you love this mouse, what do you think about this company? And is this your main mouse, or do you not enjoy this mouse? I mean, this mouse looks pretty, like I said. Looks like really nice. I mean, I have to admit that it's like the off-white looks really clean with the orange. It'd be nice if it was like they had different colors, but obviously they weren't going to make many different options for this. So yeah, overall, I think it's a good product, just not a good, I mean, it's not, I'm not going to say it's a bad company, but it's kind of like, what's the point then, right? One could say the point could be that other companies can be inspired, and this company can kind of push the wave towards that type of market. So, I mean, that's at least the positives that I can see. But in general, like trying to get one of these from the company, it's going to be very difficult, right? Like you have to buy from third parties at double the price, and it's just not worth it. So in conclusion, it's good. But if you didn't get it, if you're able to pre-order it, and if they ever make another one, if it's wireless or something, if you're able to get it, get it. If not, definitely don't get it from like a scalper unless you have the funds. So yeah, at the end of the day, let me know your thoughts. This is just my perspective on it, and expect more videos soon about, you know, I'm expecting another mouse pretty soon, but it's going to take me like a week or two to kind of try it out a little bit and give my perspective on it, and maybe a couple of months until I give my final analysis about it. So yeah, so have a lovely rest of your night, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.